the electronics manufacturing ecosystem in Hyderabad, which is already quite strong, but in fact I believe this will propel it into the next league. As you all know, Hyderabad has been a very, very strong destination for defense and aerospace sectors in India. Ever since independence of India, in fact, the very first government in India, the government of India, has chosen Hyderabad as a strategic location for a number of defense institutions, for a number of defense labs, for missile manufacturing facilities, etc. Reason being, Hyderabad was considered to be an impregnable location from our hostile neighbors. And I think all the Israeli gentlemen and ladies here would certainly understand hostilities from neighbors. So most definitely Hyderabad at that point in time was considered a very, very safe location. Well, this was obviously not the time when intercontinental ballistic missiles were around. This was a time in the early 1950s and 60s. So we have more than 30,000 researchers and scientists and number of people working in the defense ecosystem right here in our own city of Hyderabad. Obviously, most of the work that happens in these defense labs, be it the DRDO, DRDL, RCI, or BDL, all of it, in fact, most of it is obviously classified. Therefore, you don't get to see a lot of them. But what has happened as a result in Hyderabad is that these large number of defense labs, which have been here for the last more than 5 decades, have also created a fantastic small and medium enterprise ecosystem in the same space. Today, you would be surprised to know that Hyderabad, in fact, has more than 1,000 MSME players in the defense industry. In fact, some of you may be surprised to know that the French nuclear submarine, Scorpene, in fact, procures some of its parts, some of its components from Hyderabad's defense ecosystem. So is the case with a number of other large defense players in the world. What I'm delighted about today is, not only has this facility, the Kalyani Rafale Advanced Systems Facility, KRAS as they've called it, has come up in a record time of 10 months, but it, I believe, also will create a strong supply chain. I believe it will also grow in tandem with Government of India's policy in the future, which is likely to come up soon, hopefully. It will certainly grow stronger and stronger. And as Mr. Baba Kalyani had put it, Hyderabad and Telangana have all the trappings to become the #1 destination for defense investments and defense electronics investments in the entire country in India. India as a country also has a bright future, not only as Major General and the President and CEO of Rafale had pointed out, not only to make for itself, not only to make in India, but also make for India, but also make for the rest of the world. In fact, India has that fantastic opportunity with the kind of think force it has, with the kind of strong young workforce it has, which is unlike any other country on the planet today. The other thing I also wanted to point out, within India, I'd like to appeal to the ambassador here. Within India, you would have about 5 to 6 states, because India is a federal setup. So the states enjoy a great degree of autonomy in terms of allotting land, in terms of giving incentives, in terms of just giving you what you want to set up industry and get up and running in a very, very quick fashion. It's important for various nations, especially our strategic partners like Israel, to engage not just at the Government of India level, but also start talking more to the states like Telangana, which definitely is a state which is #1 on the ease of doing business. We have a fantastic policy, which is unlike any other policy in the world. In fact, let me just take 2 minutes to explain to you why Telangana is the #1 state on ease of doing business today. We have brought out a policy called the TS IPAS about 2 years ago, and I'll just reel out 3 salient features of TS IPAS which make it special. TS IPAS is a policy which is unlike any in the world today. In fact, we allow as a state for any investor to come in to Telangana and to self-certify themselves before they start an enterprise, before they start building their facility. You do not have to meet any bureaucrat, you do not have to meet any minister, you do not have to meet any government officer to start your enterprise on day 1. Simultaneously, this is a process called self-certification. Simultaneously, only for regulatory purposes, we seek that you submit an application online. When you send an application online stating the intent of your business, the investment potential, and the employment potential, I need that information as a state for regulatory purposes only. I promise you all clearances. We promise all clearances in less than 15 days. And what happens if we don't deliver on the 15-day promise. If we do not deliver on the 15-day promise, on the 16th day, it's a deemed approval. It's an approval by default. You will not hear about this in any other state in India today. The third thing I would say, the third salient feature of our TSI Pass, we take accountability very seriously. We know that partners, enterprises in India today have global service level agreements. You have equations with your players, your partners across the world. We have to live up to service levels, and you cannot go wrong on timings. Therefore, if we do not deliver on the 15-day promise, from the 16th day onwards, besides it being an automatic approval, we also ensure that we levy a sum of 1,000 rupees on the bureaucrat who is held responsible for the delay of holding up the clearance. This is unheard of in India. In fact, I was in the United States previous summer. I met with the chairman of KPMG Global, John Y. Meyer. I had explained to him pretty much what I told you just now, and I said, this is unlike any other state in India. This you would not hear from any state in India. This was in New York City. He looked at me, smiled, and he said, well, you'll not hear this from any state in the United States either. So you might as well go ahead and say this is one of the best policies in the world. Point I'm trying to make is, what makes Telangana today a very, very attractive investment destination is not just the way we've reformed ourselves in terms of ease of doing business. We've also started working on lowering the cost of doing business here. We've also started working on improving the quality of doing business here. We've started also working on the infrastructure, which I think India absolutely needs to propel itself into the next league. So the point I'm trying to make at this time, this auspicious occasion, is that India today has about 5 to 7 states which are extremely progressive, which are extremely active in pursuit of investments, in pursuit of employment creation, and especially in important sectors like defense and aerospace. In fact, on aerospace, let me also add, in fact, Hyderabad has 3 aerospace parks which are already up and running. We have attracted large number of investments in aerospace and defense as well. You would be surprised, Ambassador, to know that President Donald Trump's helicopter cabin today is manufactured also in Hyderabad. It's a company called Sikorsky, and they manufacture helicopter cabins here in Hyderabad in tandem with the Tata Advanced Systems Limited. So Hyderabad has a very, very interesting and a fascinating story to tell today to the rest of the country. So I do sincerely hope that with the kind of success, because I was just telling Mr. Baba Kalyani, the kind of inspiration we can derive from Israel, the kind of stories, the kind of amazing inspirational stories we read from Israel is something that India and Indians need to emulate on a very large scale. Be it in electronics, be it in agriculture, be it in water, you have left nothing. In fact, in terms of innovation, I think you have explored every single area. And Indians and India has a lot to learn, has a lot to pick up. Cybersecurity, of course, to pick up from Israel. And so we do look forward to engaging ourselves more closely with Israel and Israeli enterprises who are looking to enter the Indian market. And of course, Kalyani Group, I am sincerely grateful to you, sir, to Mr. Baba Kalyani, to Amit, and to the rest of the Kalyani Group here. So we are also hosting, in fact, we have a gentleman, Anil, here. We are also hosting Deftronics, the Defense Electronics Show, a pan-India show, in fact, in Hyderabad. And in fact, Anil is here to invite you as the chief guest for the event, and I do hope that you will oblige us. And I want to make this a permanent fixture in Hyderabad. We want to make Hyderabad the hub for defense electronics. So once again, many, many congratulations to Rafael, many, many congratulations to Kalyani, and thank you very much, and I hope this is just the beginning. Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir, for talking to us and sharing your thoughts with us here on this August occasion. I now request Mr. Rajendra Bhatia, President and CEO, Defense and Aerospace.